Conversations with Celena, the podcast where we discover inspiration, motivation, and information to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Celena, aka Sunshine, and each week we'll dive into conversations with guests who share their testimonies, insights, and advice. We'll explore topics that uplift, encourage, and empower you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So tune in and let's have some fun while we explore all that life has to offer. Keep it smiling, sunshine, and let's go. Hey, sunshine. Hey, sunshine. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday morning to you all. Thank you for joining another episode of Conversation with Celena. I'm so excited, as always, about another episode. So if this is your first time, welcome. I am Celena, aka Sunshine. And if you're returning, you know how I feel about you all that continue to support my podcast, talk show, radio show, all of the things that I'm just involved in. Thank you so much for your continued love and support. So on today, can you all say event? We have an event going on in Picayune, Mississippi at the Picayune Carver Culture Center in Picayune, Mississippi. So we have a special guest on today. She is actually facilitating this event, and I am going to introduce her quickly and then let her tell you a little bit about herself. She is Miss Jasmine Cochran. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me. Sunshine. So welcome. Tell us a little about you and then what you all have going on this morning. Listen, y'all, start getting ready right now. It starts in 30 minutes.
So I am Jasmine. I'm from Picayune, Mississippi. This is home for me. It was where I was raised. It's where I graduated high school. Went on to graduate from Mississippi State University. I ran track there. And after that, went to go do a whole bunch of different things. So I've been a teacher in the classroom in the U.S. and overseas. I worked as a fitness coach in Texas for a while. I owned a professional organizing business a long time ago. That's another story for another day. And my family and I, my husband and our two daughters lived in China for 5 years. And we've been back in the United States for right at 3 years. We came back whenever my father was diagnosed with cancer, came back to help take care of him, and we decided to stay. So here we are. We live in Bay St. Louis. And what I have done is started this program for leadership and life skills called Connected. And today we are having a little workshop where students can come in and connect with themselves, connect with each other, and think about their future. So we're really excited about it. The name of this workshop is Connecting the Dots to Success. And really what it is about is to help students to understand that their success might not be linear. You know, the system that we have here in the US and really everywhere is you go to school and then you go to college, you pick a major, you get a job in that major with that degree, you work that job for 30 or 40 years, you retire, and then you go to Florida. And that's just not how it works for anybody, right? And so when your life doesn't follow that linear path, then you run into confusion, you run into regret. You're not really sure if you're doing what it is that you should be doing. Should you have made different choices? And what I want to do is empower students to understand that your life might not look like that. It probably won't look like that, but that doesn't mean that you won't be successful. So what you have to do is connect these different experiences, these different opportunities, your different character traits, connect them together and find your own success, define your own success. So that's what we're diving into today.
Girl, I feel like booking you already. Like I need a coach. I need a life coach. I need a fitness coach. I mean, a teacher. You got so many hats. You rolling right in line over there with Mama Vinny. Like she does a little bit of everything. Yeah. And so it is amazing to me when people take out their time to come and sow back into the community to help the younger generation understand that it's not going to look the way that you think it's going to look. And it's not going to look like your best friend, your next door neighbor. Your journey is going to look completely different. And sometimes, a lot of times, most of the time, it's going to involve risk. Yes. It's going to involve change.
Yes. And the way that you deal with that is like those are skills. There are skills that are available to help us to deal with that so that we don't feel like we're, just trying to grasp at straws and trying to figure things out all the time. And this is something that I wish that I would have known a long time ago, because my brain does not work like, oh, let me just do one thing for the next 50 years. Nah, I'm not built like that. And so the whole problem is, if you're not built like that, there's really no direction for you. And when you are forging your own path, there are certain skills that will help you to forge that path more quickly, more efficiently, more effectively, so that you're not always drowning in the trying to figure things out. So that is really the message that I want to convey to our students. I am currently putting together a curriculum, a leadership and life skills curriculum that will hopefully be in classrooms all over the place to help students to be able to do these things and to understand the skills that they need for their future: life skills, leadership skills, soft skills, hard skills, so that when they get to the point of leadership, which could be in high school, you might be in student council, you might be a student athlete, you might just be somebody in your friend group that people look up to, you can forge and develop those skills, take them to college, take them to wherever you go professionally, and really be a person that people are happy to follow and call a leader. We know that a lot of people these days, they don't leave jobs, they leave bosses. And it is because there are a lot of people in leadership positions who don't have leadership skills.
Correct.
And so what we want to do is start to fix that problem now, while these kids are young, so that by the time they get to be in those leadership positions, they are the people who are really growing employees and making employees feel like, hey, this is a place where I can learn and I can grow and I can contribute, and I don't have to dread coming to work all weekend. I don't have to dread Monday morning because I'm dealing with a boss who doesn't know what they are doing. And so we want to empower our kids today to be those leaders tomorrow.
So you got an adult class?
I'm working on it.
You have an adult class, because girls, some of us, even at this age, you still need it. And I'm not saying that, you're completely confused at this point, because I feel like over 50, you really are starting to hone in on what it is that you're supposed to do. But even at that spot, if you have the same type of brain that you have, trying to be all over the place, because I'm like, girl, you haven't finished this task and you already over to the next task. You still know, you need to know how to bring that all together so that you're successful as well.
Yes. And absolutely. I was talking to a school a few days ago, and they're like, can you do a parent workshop? And I said, I sure can do a parent workshop, but kids are so coachable.
Yes.
At this age, they're so pliable, they're learning, and their willingness is so much more open than adults most of the time. And that's where I like to start. I like to start with the kids so that they can go ahead and make this information part of their core learning experience, and they can grow in it. Adults are kind of hard-headed. Not that they won't listen, but it takes more. It takes more. You got to convince adults, because once you get set in your ways, you're like, look, man, this is the way I've been doing it. This is the way that I'm going to keep on doing it. And
that's not how it's going to work. But you are correct. Like, children, and they need to know that they have a voice early on.
Yes.
I think children have been raised to be seen and not heard, and then they get to where they don't want to be seen. I don't want to see you or hear you. Go to your room, go.
And you end up like this. They end up like this.
Yes.
And, you have a screen that's giving them all of their input, and I really would love to infiltrate that right now. One of the workshops that I do is to teach students to be able to connect face to face, eye to eye. It's so easy these days for people to break up with somebody through a text message, quit a job through a text message, do all these things where you don't have to be human. You don't have to feel the emotions that come along with that. You don't have to look somebody in their eye. And what we're doing is we are destroying our own humanity by doing that. We are removing ourselves from the uncomfortable things that make us human. And when you do that, yes, and when you do that, what's going to happen to you 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road? You can't have a marriage like that. You can't raise kids like that. You can't do that. And so we're at a point now where I think it's almost at emergency level. Like, hey, listen, we got to teach people how to be able to have face-to-face conversations, and to do it is to have this communication in a way that is nonviolent, but also to teach us not to be so ready to be so offended by everything all the time. Like, everything's not offensive. We need to be able to correct each other in love, to point each other in the right direction, and you got to be able to know how to talk to people, and
Mhm.
you're not talking to all the same people the same way. You know, there, you, to be a leader, you have to be flexible. Maybe I communicate with this person this way, but I have to communicate with somebody else a very different way because of the way that they download information. But
Mhm.
you can't learn that if your face isn't a screen all the time. And so these very human things that are falling by the wayside, I just want to be able to say, hey, let me teach you how to do this, because it's going to give you a leg up. Because while everybody else is going the way of TikTok, Instagram, all of my communication is going to be via text message. If you are the 1 out of 10, the 1 out of 100, the 1 out of 1,000 who can still look people in the eye and have a face-to-face conversation and convey your thoughts effectively, you are already in a better position than the people who were unwilling to learn that because it was uncomfortable.
Correct, correct. And it's at a critical stage. Like right now is the time because children are just all over the place. They don't even know who they are. They're getting all kinds of operations done to change who they are before they're even 18 years old. And,
Mhm.
just need that guidance and direction, because you're right. It's the screen, it's the television, it's the movies, it's all of those things that's raising our next generation, or has raised, because already some of them are in, these leadership roles. And you're like, what in the world are you doing? But
Yeah.
you are correct. People leave their bosses, not their jobs, because you want to feel appreciated. You want to
Yes.
feel like you are respected and you have a voice, whether it's in your personal life or your professional career.
Mhm.
And the only way you're going to know that is if you find your voice. And you're not going to find your voice if you can't talk, you can't communicate, you can't
Right.
write cursive. Like, it's
Right.
so many things that have changed. When I talk to my kids and I try to get them to do something, I'm like, you need to call them. Oh, I'll text them. No, that don't work for us. When you're communicating with the older generation, a text message does not work for us. But if you take
Right.
the time to pick up the phone and call, follow up with an email, and follow up with a text message,
Yes.
then that's how you communicate, but not just via text message and think you've done a successful job because you failed.
Because, I mean, think about how much spam garbage we all get every day. So you are no different to me if you are communicating with me the same way that all of this spam stuff is communicating with me. I get so many trash text messages in a day, these phone calls in a day. If, in order for you to reach me that way, we have to have a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what we've lost. Like, we are losing the relationship component because relationships are uncomfortable. They're supposed to be. They're supposed to make you feel things that are uncomfortable, and we're running away from the discomfort. This is why people will break up via text. They'll quit a job via text because that's a hard conversation to have. So, as a leader, you have to be able to have those hard conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're doing here with Connected, teaching kids how to have these hard conversations, teaching them how to write proposals for change that they want to see in the community, in their schools, teaching them how to do all these things that are the basic skills of good leadership, teaching them about integrity, teaching them about taking care of yourself, burning yourself out, because we know that that is something that leaders do. You try to do everything of too much, and before you know it, you can't do anything because you've burnt yourself out. I've been there on more than one occasion, like worked myself to illness. And that's something that nobody taught me. Hey, get some rest. As a
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, when I was young and I was playing all these sports and I was in all of these things, and I would say to an adult, I'm tired. They would say, you too young to be tired. You ain't tired. And so what that did was that taught me that rest wasn't important for me. And it was. And so then after I worked myself to illness 2 or 3 times when I was young, I realized maybe I need some rest. And so that is a skill too. So yeah, just a very holistic, comprehensive way to go about students really developing into whole people. That is what Connected is about. So that's what we're doing in here today. We're going to take a couple hours, do some really fun activities. We're going to workshop through some things and show kids how to connect with themselves and understand what it is that they want. And then when they run into hurdles, because they will, and that are going to seem like they are in the way of what it is that they're trying to attain, there is a system to help you to bounce back from what you are feeling and get back on that path instead of letting those hurdles kick you off the path and then you don't get back on. And you end up becoming a victim of the feelings of that because you didn't know how to work through it.
You didn't know how to be successful. So I have the flyer up on the screen, and it's starting in like 15 minutes. And it's at 1421 Goodyear Boulevard at 10 a.m. So again, that's in 15 minutes this morning. Everything is free. The refreshments are included. So come on out, because if you can learn these life skills,
yes,
at an early age, that is going to change the trajectory of your life. And it's going to prevent some of the illnesses that she's talking about, because you can work yourself sick. And if you don't learn a healthy balance early, you will learn it later the hard way. And so this is what we're trying to prevent. We want to help you be able to get through those hurdles and not feel like things are failures, because those failures can turn into lessons. You know, you can use that as a lesson and a stepping stone to get to the next level. So this workshop is called Connecting the Dots to Success. So tell me, any parent out there that does not want this for their child, if you want this for your child, please get them ready. Go grab them out from outside, from the park, off the game, wherever they might be, out the bed, and take them over to this event. It is going to change their life. I mean, just this snippet, this conversation, I feel so motivated. I'm ready to go now. I'm like, okay, what can I do? I'm going to email her, text her something and say, when is the adult workshop? Because I'm still teachable. I might be old, but I'm still teachable, because I'm going to show up and I'm going to want to learn. So I'm excited about even sharing an adult workshop that they're going to have, because we also need this. And we need this to be able to help our children. Like, if we learn it, we can help our children. And if you're like, oh, my kids are grown, well, what about your grandkids? What about the neighbors' kids? Like, we do better when we know better.
That's right. That's right. Yes, indeed.
Did you want to say anything else about the flyer?
No, that's it for right now. We're going to go in here, make sure that all the last minute stuff is taken care of, and then get this party started. It's going to be a lot of fun today. Lots of fun.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. You have accomplished so many different things, and I am super excited to be connected to you, because anytime Vinny send me somebody, it's like an amazing person that I'm like, ooh, child, you better be glad that's your auntie / cousin, because she be hooking you up with some amazing people. So it is truly a blessing, and I cannot wait to get connected with you later. But you all have an amazing day, and I will repost this just to let people know it is happening now.
Awesome. Hey, thank you. This was such a pleasure. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
See y'all at 11. Sunshine will be back at 11. We're talking about mental health with Carmen. All right. See y'all in just a little bit. Keep it smiling, Sunshine. Mwah.